Sam, welcome to Radio Parvasi and good morning.
Hi, Mr. Saini. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I have two questions. My first question is that why these councillors raise these issues at the fag end? Now we know we are going into elections again in October. So whatever was going on in City Hall for all these 3.5 years, they were not speaking out against that. Now all of a sudden we can see they are very, very aggressive.
Yeah, I do think the election probably has a lot to do with it, but they released a very strong letter in February stating that, quote, democracy is under siege in Brampton, and they laid out a lot of the issues. And I agree, there have been times where their aggression was taken out on staff, particularly the former CAO, David Barrick, who was eventually fired by the council members. But you're right, they haven't pinpointed their aggression on Patrick Brown, which they now are. I think it's two things. I think one, they've been a little bit intimidated by Patrick Brown. He's known to be quite a bully, quite aggressive, does things that many would consider to be almost underhanded. So they think, they were somewhat scared because he has quite a large network, and he brought a lot of, political weight behind him. So that I think that intimidated them a little bit. But I think also they just got so frustrated, from our reporting. The Pointer has not been intimidated by Patrick Brown. We've been reporting on what he's been doing, almost since he became mayor. When he first became mayor, and in the election campaign of 2018, we treated him very fairly. We gave him lots of opportunity to speak. We profiled him. We interviewed him. We had no issues doing that. The allegations that still stand from the two women of sexual misconduct that led to his downfall from provincial politics, while we took those allegations very seriously, and we certainly don't have a position on those allegations, the alleged victims, the two young women, they certainly have the right to bring their allegations forward. But we also treated, Mr. Brown in the same way because we felt he had the right to defend himself. Those allegations have not been tested or proven in court. But very quickly after he became mayor, and our reporting, the facts showed what type of a person he is, what type of a leader he is. We were very disturbed because we did the reporting. We showed that he hired people who had engaged in corruption in Niagara. He had them hired. He was responsible for their hiring in Brampton. He hired other individuals. He started to give contracts to his friends who weren't even experienced. The work was not even being done. He had city staff working for Peter MacKay's Conservative leadership bid in 2020, using staff resources, taxpayer resources out of City Hall, for his own federal political ambition. And now, things like during the pandemic, lying about, testing levels and the severity of the pandemic in Brampton to try to avoid some criticism, and then visiting a hockey arena to go play hockey with his friends when he wasn't supposed to, when children and youth and everyone else was denied the ability from going out and having some fun, playing some hockey. He was going and opening an arena for his friends, his connected friends, to go and play, even though it was technically illegal. He wasn't supposed to be doing it. And then when he got caught, he just lied about it. But no one believed his lies, and the video evidence was crystal clear. And again, he's got city staff with him. He wasn't even wearing a mask when he was caught on video. But it just keeps going on. And now the latest, a media outlet in Alberta did a video news piece showing he has City Hall staff working for his federal Conservative leadership campaign in his office in Vaughan. The news camera crew, they captured the vehicles, the cars of City Hall staff, showing, the license plate numbers and everything. They're sitting in a Vaughan office working for Patrick Brown's federal Conservative campaign, and the Brampton taxpayers, they're not even knowing this, not even knowing that they're paying for that staff. This is what's going on. So there's now a sweeping set of investigations to look into all the contracts to his friends, other contracts, the hiring that was going on, all the other rules that were being broken. And now, to prevent those investigations from moving forward, he and his 4 council allies, they don't show up for work yesterday. They refuse to go to the council meeting, which will prevent a new member from being appointed to replace Charmaine Williams. Charmaine Williams successfully ran. She won a seat as an MPP on June 2nd in the provincial election. But without a council meeting, that replacement can't be appointed. So if they don't show up, then the business of council can't go forward. The investigations can't come forward. And this is his tactic, along with Rowena Santos, his council ally, Harkirat Singh, his council ally, Michael Pileshi, Paul Vicente, the 4 pawns of Patrick Brown, who are doing his bidding for him. They also did not show up because, particularly Rowena Santos, 2 of the investigations that have been ordered are specifically to look into her conduct. The potential that, 1, she harassed staff, and 2, she was in a conflict of interest when she was involved with giving a friend a very lucrative contract for this Brampton University scheme that never even went off the ground. And most of the work that was paid to Patrick Brown's friend, more than $500,000, over $500,000, a lot of that work was never even done. He was completely inexperienced in the first place. Same with the Rowena Santos, her friend, completely inexperienced. Most of the work wasn't done, yet they were paid hundreds of thousands of dollars that the Brampton taxpayers paid for. And now they won't even show up to work to block the investigations from moving forward. And so I would say to your listeners, particularly a lot of the Punjabi community, who would be familiar with Harkirat Singh, this is the type of person you want, to be representing you? This is the type of person you want as a role model for the Punjabi community? Harkirat Singh, who enables and supports wrongdoing, who blocks investigations, who supports a mayor who continues to abuse Brampton taxpayers, the Punjabi community, the huge segment, of citizens that are just being treated like second-class citizens. You want Harkirat Singh to be continuing to represent you?
Okay, so we are short of time now. We have to go for news live from Chandigarh. Sen, my last question is that Mayor Brown is considered as one of the, he's a shrewd politician. He's a very smart politician. He knows how to manage different kind of people from different ideologies. So he has been successful in that so far. But now
I don't know. I don't agree with that statement.
Okay. My question is.
Go ahead.
My question is that he was trying to manage the councillors so far, but at this time when he's running for the leadership of the Conservative Party at the federal level and trying to be the Prime Minister of this country, his own house is not in order. How it's going to affect his leadership race?
Yeah, Mr. Saini, he hasn't even been in Brampton. Of course his house isn't even in order. He's been crisscrossing the country. And who does he have with him? Harkirat Singh. Harkirat Singh is in Montreal with him for his campaign. Harkirat Singh is in British Columbia with him. Patrick Brown is in every corner of the country. He's not working for Brampton. He's not working for the citizens of Brampton. The taxpayers who are paying his paycheck, why doesn't he take a leave? And they can appoint someone who will be the mayor, who will do the job, who will look after their house, their own backyard, the city hall, business that needs to be done. And like you just said, if he can't even manage being the mayor of Brampton, which he's been a complete catastrophe, a disaster, we know what happened when he was, he basically used a loophole to win the leadership of the PC party in Ontario, where he primarily used the South Asian community, the Tamil community, Punjabi, our Sikh community, to go and sign up memberships, many of which there's evidence that those were fraudulent memberships, and handing out nominations, taking $375,000 from a gentleman named Just Johal. He goes and buys a cottage at Lake Simcoe, and then he gives Just Johal a nomination, a PC nomination, after he takes almost $400,000 from this man to go and buy a cottage. And in return, he's given a nomination for the PC party. So you talk about being smart and shrewd. I don't see that being smart and shrewd. It all blows up in his face. Look at his leadership campaign now. Every day, a new scandal. The latest is now there's going to be an investigation by the Conservative Party because they have evidence that once again he's fraudulently selling memberships, offering to pay for the memberships. You've seen it in the news. It's been all over the news the last 2 days. Every newspaper has reported on the Conservative Party investigation into Patrick Brown's memberships. You know, in 2018, the Integrity Commissioner of Ontario investigated and found him guilty of charges. We know that he was his own party, his own caucus, pushed him out. And now, look, you've got a letter from the Brampton councillors. You've seen the letter saying, quote, the headline is, "What is Patrick Brown hiding?" His own councillors have said that in Brampton, that he's hiding from the truth. He's trying to prevent the investigation. So where has he been shrewd? Where has he been smart? Every time it blows up in his face. He fools and cons people, you know, for a little while, and then everyone finds out what he's all about. So is he smart at conning people? Is he shrewd at misleading people? And usually it's people with an agenda. Usually it's people who are easily misled because they want to get their fingers. It's someone who wants to be a politician. It's someone who wants to get contracts, real estate agents who want to get deals. It's those types of people in the Punjabi community, the Sikh community, the Tamil community, now the Muslim community that he's going after. So he finds the people that are willing to help him to do wrongdoing, to mislead others, who all usually just want something out of it for themselves, a quick buck, an appointment, a job, a contract, a deal, and then he preys upon them, manipulates them, and everyone eventually finds out, and they realize what he's all about. And now I hope finally Brampton kicks him out, and I hope the Conservative Party kicks him out.
Anyway, thank you, Sen, for your opinion. And again, at the end, I would say that...
Yeah, that opinion, Mr. Saini, that's opinion based on 4 years of hard reporting.
Okay.
Hard investigative reporting. Okay. That's where those comments come from.
Okay. And whatever is the result of a leadership race of Conservative Party, but one thing is certain, Brampton is suffering and Brampton will keep suffering till the elections. Whatever will be the result of municipal elections of Brampton this time, we can't say. There is a long time to go for that. But anyway, thank you so much, San, for talking to us. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mr. Saini.
Thank you so much.